Hello friends and welcome back. Spring has definitely sprung in the Yukon. It's time to get this van back in action for the summer season. I need to make a trip down to Whitehorse for a medical appointment, so I thought I'd take the van, explore some new places, and take little Marvin on his first camping trip. Hi everyone, it is Friday night. I got home from work, went down to the curling rink because there's a bonspiel happening, had a couple burgers, and now I'm at home and I'm about to get this van in action for a little camping trip this weekend. So yeah, there's a few things I need to do to get it ready. Batteries need to go back in, and then I sort of have to get it dog ready. Well, I should say puppy ready, because I don't quite trust our new little guy in there without a kennel. So we've got to make some alterations, and then probably, there'll be some cleanup and things to do. And yeah, we'll just get organized so that we can head out fairly early tomorrow morning. Okay, bye-bye. Okay, question number one. Why am I wearing a white sweater while I'm doing this in my dirty van? So I've got the bar across the opening in the front to keep the cage from sliding forward, but as you can see, there's quite a bit of room on each side, and I don't really want to shove stuff down there because he'll probably try to chew it from inside the cage. I'm gonna try to rig up some bungees to kind of secure it in place. Probably here. And then maybe too long. It's short. It's not super tight, but I think it'll work for this weekend anyways. Okay, so I have a few things to put away and clean up, so I think I'm just going to do that now, and then I'll sort of give you an update on everything when I'm done. Oh, hi, puppy. Good morning. Good morning. My hair is doing funky things this morning. I just thought I'd come out to the van and take stock of what I did last night to get ready for this little trip, and make a list of what else needs to be done. Had a little sleep in this morning, but I'm hoping to get on the road around noon. No rush, just take my time and enjoy myself. But yeah, I'll show you what I did. So back here, I got the cage secured. It takes up quite a bit of room, and I lose some storage. I was hoping that his travel cage that has like the solid sides would fit in here, but it was just ever so slightly too tall by like half a centimeter, so it didn't clear that drawer there. So this one will have to do. And then I've got my usual Rubbermaid in here, and then over here I've got my camp table, my tire fill-up thing, and my gray water bucket. And then over here I've got my little butane burner and some butane. I'm not filling up my water system. It's still a little chilly for that, so one thing I will have to do is just fill up a little water tank. So mostly I was just putting stuff away in here last night and cleaning. It still smells nice and fresh and clean in here. Just want to check in and see that this charged. Oh, it doesn't appear to have charged fully. I think it might be this charging cord though, because when I plugged it in, it wasn't like the lights weren't beeping down like it normally does. But one thing I will say about this little vacuum is that I had it stored inside the house all winter, and it just had one light of charge, and I used it for all the cleaning up in the van yesterday, and it didn't die on me. So that's a pretty good little vacuum. I do highly recommend it. There's a few things I need to check out too. So I didn't do much with the bed. I did bring in this extra foamy, and I just shoved it up here for now, because one thing that I was thinking that I would do is I would test out my guest bed. I don't think it's going to be uncomfortable, but it is very narrow. I mean, it's a thick foamy. It's like 4 inches, but it is not very wide. I think it's only 24 inches. Just push that back there. I moved the tripod toilet and the wash basin and the dish mat into the closet, because usually they're down in here, but that's hard to access with the cage. And this is pretty much usually unused space, so it's handy and accessible. Now this is normally where the porta potty goes. I did take the porta potty inside for the winter, but I think I am going to bring it out here, even though I'm probably not going to use it on this trip, but I'll probably stick it in just because it secures all that other stuff. I gave the fridge a good clean out last night and put a fresh box of baking soda in, so it's good and ready to go. Up front here, I had moved this basket. This is a shoe basket. Usually goes in front of the heater, but I had the heater on last night just to make sure that it worked. Then up here, up top, I put in binoculars, my little quick dry towel, bear spray, my big heavy duty first aid kit, another towel. I'll put some socks and undies up there. So that's ready to go. And then I just sort of tidied up this front area, went through the glove box, got rid of all the old receipts, organized this little compartment a bit. Actually, I'll just grab up this pencil and this note paper to make a list of what I need to do. All right, so that's pretty much everything. The van is, usually pretty well equipped with everything I need, but I'm just thinking of what I'll need for this trip, so I'm just going to make a list now. I love lists. They just help me keep organized. Here's my list. And hopefully it's about 9:30 right now. So in a perfect world, I'd be on the road by noon. Okay. Almost ready, just packing up a few last things. Hey, where do you think you're going? Hi, puppy. New co-pilot. All right, well, it is 11:43, and I'm pretty much ready to go. The van's loaded. This mutt has not gone for a walk today, and he's very restless, so he's going to be a real pain in the butt if he doesn't go for a walk before we leave and he's sitting in the van for 4 hours. But I mean, we could stop somewhere along route and go for a walk, which we probably will because we're not in any rush. So we're pretty much on target. Marvin. This is the van. Welcome. And we're going to have lots of little adventures in here. All right, just fueling up and we're ready to go. About an hour behind schedule, but there is no schedule. We're good. So we'll be off very shortly. This is why I like to wear gloves. All right, we're ready to go. I may have to stop and do some adjusting as it seems that there is some rattling, but we'll get that figured out. Puppy's not so sure. He was up here, but then he looked like he wanted to get down, so then I put his blanket down there. Then he got back up. I'm also realizing he hasn't eaten lunch, so maybe that's a reason why he's a little bit restless. So we just stopped at this rest stop, gonna get him some food, and hopefully he will be feeling a little more settled. Another thing I'm super stoked about is my new Yeti mug. I actually found a travel mug, a good quality one, that fits into these tiny little Mercedes holes. We gonna try again? We'll go outside for a little pee and then we'll try again, okay? Well, it's a good thing we were not in a rush. This little guy could not get comfortable. The van, as it turns out, is much noisier and bumpier than the truck. We ended stopping several times along the way, including in Carmax, where actually Marvin's mom was rescued from, and where I grew up. Seemed appropriate to pay a little visit to the homeland. We went for a walk along the riverfront, and we saw a doggy crossing the river. Brave this time of year. Because of the several stops, the trip ended up taking a lot longer than we had hoped. However, the good news is Marvin did finally start to feel comfortable traveling in the van. It did mean that the sun was setting by the time we reached Whitehorse. So we're here at the Research Forest. Had a little dinner in the parking lot. The trails are very wet. I keep sinking in and then it's very wet on the bottom. I was scoping this place out for a nice walk tomorrow, but unless it's colder and the snow is frozen, I don't think it's gonna be that nice. Yeah, see, every third step is like that. Not ideal. Good morning. Had a great sleep last night. It was very quiet. Maybe heard like 1 or 2 vehicles go by. We're basically like in the middle of a pine forest. And the drive in, I mean, I didn't get any footage because it was dark and I didn't really know where I was going, but it was beautiful. You were right down by the Takini River. Anyways, I'll get some footage on the way out, but nice spot. So we're just gonna get organized, make some coffee, have some breakfast, and then heading to the hot springs. Puppy might have come and slept on the bed last night. He's turning into a cuddler, which is nice. This is our rat's nest this morning, though. You better get this organized. So I brought this big, thick foamy down, thinking that I would test out my guest bed. I don't know what I was thinking, because why would I sleep on a little narrow guest bed when I can sprawl out on this bed? Anyways, I guess I'll just be moving this foamy around for the next couple days. There, in the time it takes me to make my morning coffee, the chores are done. Just keeping an eye on this dog. I've got him on a cord attached to the door of the van, so he can't go too far. But let him get his sniffs out while I'm having a bit of time to myself, and then we'll go for a walk. Just watching the dog. He's just sitting there staring. I think there are some dog teams that live around here, because I have heard some dogs in the background. So I think maybe he's listening for the dogs. So yeah, what a great spot. It always boggles my mind how you can live in a place for so long, and yet there's so many places that I have never been to and have never explored. And it actually makes me really happy, because my travel outside of the Yukon has been quite limited in the past couple of years due to various circumstances. So it makes me excited that there's still so much to see if I look a little closer. So I can still have that adventurous spirit and be, a little closer to home. I mean, I'm still like over 400 kilometers from my home, but distance is relative, and in the Yukon, we have to travel really long distances to get anywhere. So 400 kilometers really isn't that far away from home. In some places, 400 kilometers would be on the complete opposite side of the country. But here, you've just barely made your way across the territory. It's funny because every now and then I can hear traffic noises, and I wonder if it's going to be traffic on this road, but in this direction, over towards the hills I've been showing you, is the Takini River. And then on the other side of that is the Alaska Highway that heads towards Haines Junction and beyond. And that's an actual highway, well, 2-lane, and a busier road. So I think I'm actually just hearing traffic noise from over there, because this is a pretty rough road. I mean, it obviously hasn't been graded yet this spring, but we came on the Takini Road. Hang on, we're on the Takini Hot Springs Road, and then I think this is the Takini River Road. Anyways, as soon as we turned onto the Takini River Road, it was washboard, potholes, not paved, not chipped, and pretty rough. I did see a sign at one point that said use chains beyond this point, and I was like, I think they're talking about in winter. There are some kind of ups and downs, but I don't know, it's pretty good. And it just looked so beautiful, the parts down by the river. There almost looked like there might have been a place to camp right on the river, but I wasn't, it was dark, and I couldn't really tell if it was somebody's property or not, so I didn't really want to risk it. But this spot was on iOverlander, and it's the trailhead for the overland route. And I'll tell you a bit more about that later. But basically, before the highway system was created in the Yukon, people traveled by river. But then there were periods of time when it was too dangerous to travel on the river. So they created an overland route to transport things between Whitehorse and Dawson and points in between. This trail is quite historic. Yeah, I've like never been here before, and I just cannot believe it. So I'm pretty excited. Pretty excited to explore more. It'd be nice to come here in like full-on summer. I was planning on maybe going on a walk on the trail, but we're kind of in that in-between season where, the weather's warm and the snow is melting, but there's still quite a bit of snow. So you're kind of sinking in, and it's slippery because it goes between slush and ice, and yeah. Anyways, I'm very happy to be here. It's so peaceful. And, the sun is shining. There's like all these massive pine trees. So that's nice. And yeah, it's just a really quiet area. I like having time to myself. I'm going to, I think, just do a little journal writing and enjoy my coffee and enjoy the peace and quiet. I've got the door wide open. It's quite mild out. I'm not sure the temperature, but the sun is coming in through the windshield, so it's also kind of heating things up. It's still managing to stay 20 degrees in here. All right, time for me to do some journaling. So there's quite a bit of straw here, so I'm guessing that dog mushers use this area to go on dog mushing trips. That's the road we came in on, and it continues that way. And over here is the trailhead. So here's the sign, Dawson Overland Trail, part of the Trans-Canada Trail. It's a multi-use trail. It goes from here and heads to Braeburn, but ultimately Dawson. I think they might use these trails for the Yukon Quest as well. And then here, I came and looked at this last night, but it was a bit hard to see, but this talks about the history of the trail. So just a little bit of additional information. This route was opened in 1902, and the Yukon government contracted the White Pass and Yukon Route Company to build a reliable overland winter travel route. And it was built using axes and saws to clear the trail, and then later it was graded with horse-drawn plows and wheel scrapers. And essentially it was for travel. There were roadhouses along the way every 20 miles. And then, yeah, there's this large parking lot, and we parked way over at the other end. And actually, you can see, maybe you can see, there's another little trail marker there. So that is the trail continuing down to Whitehorse. All right. Merv is just loving all the smells of this parking lot. So I just walked down the trail south a little bit. This is supposed to go down to the Takini River, but I'm running into the same problem yesterday where I'm kind of breaking through the snow, and it's not very pleasant walking. So I think I'll leave it for now, but I definitely want to come back. Up, come on, up. There you go, come on, get up there. Good boy, come on. Oh, good boy. I was trying to text my hubby last night just to let him know that I had arrived and all was good, and it didn't seem like any of the texts were going through. So then I was just sitting here ready to go, and he called me and the call came through, so it's weird. It says I'm on a 3G network. I'm not really sure what that means anymore. I just know that it's an old network. Anyways, I am off. Quite a bit of farmland around here. There's some big fields. I've seen some horses. So they must grow hay or something. It's really beautiful though, because of the fields. It's very open feeling, and you can see the hills in the background. And yeah, it's just really nice. Oh, this road's getting rough. Anyways. Here's where you come down and you can see the Takini River. This is beautiful. I mean, everything's a little brown and gray because it's, you know, just the tail end of winter coming into spring. But it's really nice. I don't know if you can hear it, but the road is very washboardy. This is the spot down here. I was wondering if it might be okay to park for the night right on the river. I thought it was like maybe a boat launch or something, but I think it's actually a culvert and a creek that comes into the river. Not exactly flat, but possible. And you go up the hill, this little divide here. It's just a little hidden paradise back here. So a lot of this place is still under construction. I think they're building more pools over there, but the main area is open. The Nordic Clips Hot Springs, formerly known as the Takini Hot Springs, have gone through a huge redevelopment in recent years. It's gotten pretty swanky and pricey, but now boasts 3 pools, saunas, steam rooms, relaxation rooms, yoga, a cafe, and more coming all the time, including, I believe, a hotel or apartment rentals, and I'm sure there's more. They don't allow cameras in the spa area, so this is what I was able to capture. Anyways, we just had a great soak in a few of the tubs and went in the steam room. And now we are headed to Be North, which is a little local coffee roaster. And I have drank a lot of their coffee over the years, but I have never been to their coffee shop, which is out on the Takini Road. So I'm gonna check that out. So many firsts. I think this dog is a little fed up with having been in the cage for the past 2 hours. So we'll make sure he gets a good walk. Little Marv here still isn't sure about the bumpy van. Oh, really? Families. Turns out the food was nothing to write home about. I'll stick to their coffee. After lunch, we headed into town, and my friend and I took Marvin for a nice walk. Then I hung out at my friend's place in the sun and watched her cat stalk my dog. Then I went for dinner later on with another friend who was in town, took Marv for another walk down by the river, and found my camp spot for the night. Looks like a gray day out there from the skylight. I have an appointment in town this morning, so I just slept in the street, actually right outside my condo building. I put in all of the blackout curtains so no one could peek in, but it's a pretty quiet street anyway. I have a peek out here. Yeah, time to get up. So we made it back home after my appointment yesterday, which was about, a 15-minute appointment that I have to drive 400 kilometers each way for. But in any case, got that taken care of. And then, oh, someone's excited. Marv, hey! Oh boy. And then made it home around dinner time yesterday and got home to find that some packages have come in, namely a drone, a DJI Neo, and also a GoPro with a lot of accessories in this box. So I'm excited to up my vlogging game with these new toys once I figure out how to use them. Thanks for watching. One take Tara.